Good. We'll have some fun. That timer is like maybe I need to move it so it's not like, right by the microphone. I'll put it over. Yeah, we'll do that. So you can either look at me and the camera, or look at each other in the camera, or just look at each other. Either way, however you want to do it. Okay? So I'm going to just jump in. I'll count backwards, 3, 2, 1, and I'll say, I'm here today with Ellie and Lacey at Duncan Middle School. Hi, Ellie and Lacey, and you'll say whatever you want. Like you might say hi. Or you might just not, so however you want to do it, right? And then I'll ask you a couple of questions, kind of about what we just finished talking about thinking and the way that we think and the way that we talk to ourselves, about ourselves. Is that cool?
My name's Lucy, by the way.
What did I say?
Lacey. It's Lucy.
You can call me Rick the rest of the day. I'll get it right. That's why we did the name thing. Lucy, but I called you Lacey? Sorry.
It's okay.
You really can call me Mick the rest of the day if you want. Excuse me. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Wait, who do we look at? You?
You can look at me and you can look at the camera. Well, I'll ask you first. I'll ask you, what's your name? And then, what grade are you in? Both questions you know the answer to really well, right? So, and we'll go from there. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of the Do Good Leadership Labs podcast. My name is Mike, and I'm here today at Duncan Middle School with Ellie and Lacey, and they're going to tell you a little bit about themselves. Ellie, what grade are you in?
8th.
8th grade. Did I say it again? Golly. Her name is Lucy, but she's going to call me Mick the whole rest of the day. Lucy, I'm so sorry. Lucy, what grade are you in?
8th.
You're in 8th grade. Okay, fantastic. And what's something you love to do?
I love to play volleyball.
Okay. What do you love to serve more or another position?
I like to hit the ball.
I'm glad you clarified. I like to hit ... the ball. Okay, that's good. That's good. So Lucy likes to hit the ball. Like, I'm going to say your name like 100 times in the next few minutes. Just maybe not 100, but a few. And if I ever say it wrong, just say Mick, and I'll know that I did it again. Right. So Ellie, what do you enjoy doing?
I like to play basketball and jump on the trampoline.
Have you combined those two things before? Like, what do you like? Is it for slam dunking, or do you do flips and then shoot?
We used to have basketball, and I tried to dribble it and shoot it, but it didn't really work. And I tried to dribble it. I was 8, and so I didn't really understand the laws of physics.
But now look at you. You know you can just fake dribble, right, and then jump, and then do you slam dunk it, or what do you do?
Yeah, I slam dunk it.
That's awesome. Do you have any siblings?
Yeah, I have 4 younger siblings.
Okay, so you're the oldest and they really look up to you. So if you start dribbling on the trampoline, they're going to be like, what is happening? They're not going to know the laws of physics either, right?
Yeah.
And so, Lucy, do you have any siblings?
Yes, I have an older sibling.
You have an older sibling?
Older brother.
Okay. So we talked, the reason I bring up do you have siblings is because we just came out of the emerging leader conversation where we've got some leaders in your group, and we're talking about this one topic today, and it's about what you think about what you think about. And so I asked the question in there to one of your classmates. I asked, do you feel like you compare your good to their good? Because everybody can do good. Nobody can do the good you can do the way you can do it. That's why we call it the Do Good Leadership Labs, because everybody can do good. Everyone can do good, but your good that you do as the oldest is going to be different than your siblings, right? And your good that you do as the youngest is going to be different than your sibling, right? So when you think about the good that you can do you find yourself comparing it with how your brothers and sisters do it? You do? Ellie, what way do you find yourself comparing?
Me and my sister do a lot of the same things, and so sometimes she'll do stuff that's like better than me, or like her basketball team is a little bit better than mine. So whenever they win like all their games, it makes me like, I don't know. Then I start comparing myself, and then it just like spirals.
Right. You guys do some trash talk to each other because sometimes yours is better.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes we used to play soccer in the same league, and so we'd play games against each other.
Oh, against each other? Wow. How's
Yeah.
that for your folks? Pretty nerve-wracking?
Yeah.
I'm sure.
There's only 3 teams in the league too, so it was like every single game.
Oh, no. So, but you got through it somehow.
Yeah.
That's good. And what about you, Lucy?
I feel like my brother's like really smart, and I just academically I feel like I'm comparing myself to him constantly.
Really? How does that go for you? Pretty well? Like
I mean, it helps me like strive to do better in
Yeah.
school.
Well, there is a fine line between having this competition that can help us do good, right? But then also sometimes that same line of competition helps us only look at the stuff that we're not winning in. And I think that's where it gets really tricky because we don't often speak kindly to ourselves. A lot of times we'll say things to ourselves that's not truthful, helpful, and kind that we would never say to another human. Certainly not one of our friends. Because let me ask you this question. If you talk to your friends the way you talk to yourself, would they still be your friends?
Probably not.
Probably not. And I think that's true for most of us. Not just because you're in middle school, but because you're a human. And I think that really is true for a lot of us. I do think it can be ramped up a little bit more for you because you're in middle school, just because there's so many other pressures and so many other things that are going on in your life that, man, we're like, man, this is really difficult, and I'm not sure how I'm going to be able to be better at that. I'm going to ask you another question. But first, I want to do this. I think it'll pick you up better. And I'm sorry I called you Lacey.
It's okay.
Not my intent. So I'll cut that out. I mean, obviously, the transition, I'll cut that, right? So I've got one more question for you. What do you think, like I asked you in the other room, I asked you to think about 3 things that you really like about yourself. And I asked you to write them down on a note card. And then I told you could take the note card, take the information off of it, and put it wherever you want. I'm not asking you to tell us the 3 things that you wrote about yourself that you like. But I am curious, what do you think you'll do with it? Do you think you'll like put it as a note on your phone? Do you think you'll draw like bubble letters or something? Like how do you intend to keep thinking about some of those things and the many other things that are really, really great about yourself? Lucy, how do you think that you'll do that?
I could like write it on my mirror, I guess,
Yeah,
so I could
yeah, that's really
remember
good.
it.
Yeah. Don't write it in like a permanent marker, like, but anything other than that would be good, right? Ellie, what about you?
I'll probably put it in my phone case.
Yeah, so you can always see it. I mean, except for when you're not supposed to have your phone, but whenever it's legal for you to have your phone, you always see it. Right. So, what would it be like? Okay, what's your favorite song right now?
Couldn't choose.
Yeah, neither could I.
Okay, so maybe not your favorite, but one thing, like if you were gonna walk into a room, it's like a walk-up song. Like if you were gonna walk into a room and before, as you were approaching the door, you hear the song and it starts, and then they're getting ready to say, "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the room, Lucy," and then they open the doors, like both doors open, and that song's playing, and you walk in. What would that song be today?
I'm not even. Jesus loves me.
Jesus Loves Me. All right, that's a pretty safe answer. Really good. Ellie, what about you? Same question.
That one's pretty good.
Jesus Loves Me?
Yeah.
Like pretty, does that
That's
get you
pretty
pretty
good.
hype? All right. So, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to think about one of those things that you really like about yourself. Because there are so many things that we like about ourselves but we don't know that other people would like that same thing about us. And so we kind of keep it, under a bushel or whatever. Like we keep it hidden instead of showing it to people, we kind of hang on to it, right? So I want you to think about one of those things that you really, really like about yourself, okay? And then what I want you to do is, I don't want you to give yourself a round of applause because that might be a little bit weird. But what I would like for you to do is pick up the 3 hands clapper in front of you and think about that thing and clap as fast as you can. Clap as loudly as you can. Clap I know we're in the library, and so we want to be respectful, and so we won't do it for a long time. But I want you to think about something that you really like about yourself, and I want you to look into the camera, and I want you to clap it up for yourself. Okay, who wants to go first? You want rock, paper, scissors? You can do that if you want.
Okay, no, it's rock, paper, scissors. Okay, yeah, I go first. So just look at it and clap?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that good?
Yeah, that's really good. And you were like, I don't know if it's a challenge for you, Lucy, or not, but you were wafting. It was kind of like you were fanning me a little as you were clapping. So that's a good thing. I mean, you were really kind of making a move there a little. So, all right, Lucy, same thing.
It's kind of fun.
Here's what I know about you. You're fantastic. I don't think you're perfect. I'm not perfect either. That's the wrong goal. And you and I are not that different. When you look in the mirror, sometimes you see, instead of seeing your highlight reel, you see ways maybe where you messed up or you let somebody down or where you did something but it wasn't as good as you wanted to do it. And then you start playing that over and over and over again in your mind about how it wasn't as good as you wanted it to be. And so my hope for you today is that you will really think about things about you, things about who you are, not about the stuff you have, but about who you are that are really good things that you really like about yourself. And then when you have something that's negative that you think about yourself, I want you to think, is it true? Is it helpful? And is it kind? And if it's not, try to stop thinking about it and try to refocus on something that is good about yourself, because there's so much that you bring to Duncan Middle School, that you bring to your family, that you just bring to the party as you. And so I'm so thankful that you made time for a few minutes to sit here in the library with me to have a chat about some things that are really good about yourself. If you could give any advice to any middle school student, just any encouragement, what would you say to them? Just look in the camera and say what you would say to them. This time, Lucy gets to go first, because Ellie went first last time.
Just be yourself. Like, don't care what other people think.
Say it one more time.
Just be yourself. Don't care what other people think.
Okay, great. Ellie, what about you?
Don't talk bad about people, because it'll eventually get around and it's not going to be good.
Don't talk bad about people. Hey, that's
Yeah.
really good. Thank you guys so much for giving me a few minutes
you.
today. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, you
You
too.
too.
You did great. Was it mostly painless?
Yes.
Good.